Hey YouTube, Bibbidi Bibbidi here. Here with episode 5 of Loadout TNT. Big shout out to Burrow for making the new theme song for me. A lot shorter than the other one, and it's pretty damn awesome because it's about me. I can now die in peace knowing that I have my own theme song. But let's get into the topic. Today's topic is the charge trigger. This trigger is available for both the beam and the pulse. You cannot get it for the rifle or the launcher as of yet, although the launcher does have salvo, which does have the same icon and kind of has a similar mechanic, but I'll explain that in another video. It's not exactly the same thing. So, why the charge trigger? Well, since the recent nerf in beams, which changed them to have a damage variable depending on their range, really kind of nerfed the shit out of the beam sniper. Really, it kind of died. The only person really using it anymore is Garfu. So people started looking for the next, the predecessor to the beam sniper. Well, they needed something that did a lot of damage in a single shot with a lot of accuracy. That's a lot to ask for. But the charge trigger kind of delivers that, but it really depends on the build, and there's a lot of skill involved to using the thing. So we're going to start off with the beam here, and we're going to use the charge trigger. And the first thing that everyone thinks is the sniper barrel, because it does the most damage per shot, right? And then liquid cooling, because that is also the most damage per shot. The most damage in exchange for a lower capacity. So basically this is our old beam sniper, except we added a charge trigger. So we're going to get onto the range, test this out, and I already screwed up all these dummies earlier. Okay, now that the mindless violence is over, let's have some more, shall we? Okay, so you're going to see that you're going to have to charge the trigger down, and I only did about 60 damage there. First let me explain that when you are charging, you can only hold it for so long before the gun overheats. And you pretty much have to wait for it to almost completely cool down before charging it again. Because after charging it, it's going to overheat almost immediately. Now I could have held it down for a little bit longer, but it'll eventually release itself on its own, which can be a real issue if you don't get the timing down right. So when it comes to moving around, since you can't sprint, you're going to have to get used to rolling and jumping, because that's going to be your only way of getting around, unless you like walking, which makes you a sitting duck. So as far as damage goes, we did about 60 there, and that's because of the range issue with the beams. And the sniper being a long-range barrel, you have to be far... That was embarrassing. Let's get back up there. $82 damage. And I believe it can actually get higher if I'm a little further away. 91 damage. Yeah, if I get a little bit further, I should be able to get a kill out of it. Wow. Yeah, that sucked. Let's try something standing still, shall we? Because I really suck with this barrel. Yep. Oh, I think that was totally a headshot. Yeah, headshots are going to be doing a lot of damage on this, as far as body shot goes. But you get the point. It's going to be a kill on a body shot, I'm fairly certain. If not, just change it to pyro or something. I don't know. But, yeah, the biggest issue with this is that charge time, the fact that you have to be far away, and the fact that I can't really get multiple shots. I mean, I can just pull the trigger normally and do a little bit less damage, but it overheats almost immediately. This really doesn't have the capacity with the sniper barrel, because it causes it to overheat faster. So yeah, there are people that use this, but I really don't like it. You can of course always use the headhunter, and you should be getting an insta kill even at a close range as long as you get the headshot. I've seen people use Tesla with this just to ensure that they kill people even if they do have a shield on. but that's not gonna help with the fact that if you're too close, you're not gonna be dealing a lot of damage. So what else can we do here? Like I said, there's the headhunter. I don't really want to get into that. But what's the next thing to the sniper? The LMG. It's does a lot of damage per shot, and it charges way faster. Does less damage than the sniper. It only does about did I say 66 there? I thought it was only 50. Anyway, oh yeah, 66. So it does quite a bit of damage. Oh, I overheated. It charges way faster. If I'm not mistaken, it doesn't overheat as fast either. So yeah, I'm doing the same damage that I was with the sniper at this range, which is awesome, because if you want to snipe with the charge beam, something's wrong with you, and I'll just tell you now, just use the bolt action sniper, because it makes way more sense. You know, it's hard enough to snipe from a distance as it is. To add a charge time on top of that just seems ludicrous, and then you have all that time that you have to wait for it to cool down. So I don't recommend that. But even still, with the LMG, it's not great. I'm still going to need at least 2 shots to get a kill, and I'm probably going to overheat from that first charge anyway. So I'm not too fond of the charged beam in general. One last thing, if we step back even further and use the assault barrel of all things, you're going to be doing a lot less damage, but it charges super fast, and I still did 51 damage, which means it's still 2-shot, and it doesn't overheat as fast. So this could actually be better than both of them. Now, given if you're far away, you're definitely going to have a damage drop off, in which case this sniper is going to beat you out there. But I didn't overheat. I can fire again. I can charge super fast and still do up to 51 damage at close range. I don't know what it is on a headshot. Let's find out. 69. That's a good number. 69 is always a good number. So the assault barrel might actually be a really good choice for the beam, because you can just charge it so damn fast. It's almost like not having a charge time. It's more like spooling. So that's definitely an option. I've really never seen anyone use it, but hell, it works. So like I said, the only other chassis you can use is pulse. So we're going to change that to a charge trigger, and let's start with bolt action and the sniper, of course. Now immediately you're going to know the crosshairs are freaking enormous. Charge time takes forever, and for some reason it refuses to shoot anywhere within the crosshairs. Instead it decides to hit on the very edge of it. So this is almost useless on a hip fire unless you're directly in their face, and sometimes it can still even miss, like right now. That's terrible. So this is a weapon that you're really going to need to aim down the sights with, which it has pretty good accuracy when it does, and it does over 100 damage, which means insta-kill. So it's pretty rewarding if you actually manage to land the shot, although that charge time is going to take forever. You're going to have to reload immediately after, and you have to look down the sights every time. So obviously, just I don't know what happened there. I wasn't even holding the trigger down. So obviously sitting here and charging the trigger up is a really bad idea, and walking towards them definitely isn't going to work. So you're going to have to get used to rolling and jumping and firing while in the air, which can take a little bit of practice, but believe me, it is possible and isn't as bad as you think once you get into the rhythm of it. So charge, sniper, pulse, it works. I mean, it's insta-kill, you can't argue with that. Sometimes, unless you get him in a leg, then it doesn't work. But you can always just, you know, pull it real fast and still get 46 frickin' damage. And you're not going to have to worry about that damage drop off for being too close or far away or whatever. So, a lot of skill involved, but it works. Excuse me. Let's try it with the shell loading real quick. Now, the problem with shell loading is going to be, I'm still going to have that huge inaccuracy. So I'm still going to have to look down the sights to get that shot. And all the other factors are still there. The only thing that's there is I don't have to reload, but now it takes 2 shots. So if the bolt action gets the kill on the first shot, I wouldn't have to make the second shot. So shell loading on sniper barrel, completely useless, don't even bother. So let's try the LMG again, because it's the next best thing, right? So we'll start this off with the bolt action. And you're going to notice the crosshairs are much smaller. But to help out even more, and I probably should have done this with the sniper, but it wouldn't really make that much of a difference, is I have the compact stock, which is going to make our hip firing much better. Now I'm going to have a little bit of bloom when I move. If that's an issue, you use the aluminum, but overall compact I think is much better for this. So we're only going to do about 61 damage there, which isn't an insta-kill of course, but you're going to charge a little bit faster, and you're going to be able to hip fire, which is awesome because it means you're going to land a lot more shots this way. And I can hit things just fine with that hip fire, especially when I'm roll jumping. I can get headshots all day. So, not as much damage, but easier to use. Something to consider. Once again, a matter of preference. Now, I suppose you can make this pyro and slow pulse to make it do more damage, but I don't see this being really useful. I totally missed that shot. Because one, they're going to probably roll that pyro off. Obviously, you're going to wait forever for them to freaking die. And the slow pulse is going to be an issue for hitting moving targets. And I still didn't get an insta-kill. I still didn't get a single shot kill. That's what I should have said. So yeah, this is not a good idea. So I'm going to change it back to slug. And we're going to do standard. But we're going to try shell loading. So only doing 40 damage here. Was that 51 or 61 on a headshot? 51. So this takes a couple more shots, which really sucks. But think of it as a good opener. You can make that shot pretty easy, do a lot of damage up front, and then I wasted too much ammo. And then you can finish him off with just regular semi, or switch to another weapon. But if you're not really good with hitting things with the semi, which can be pretty difficult in this game, and you don't really want to switch to another weapon to finish him off, bolt is definitely the way to go for this. Now if we switch this up to pyro and slow, can we even it out to what we were doing with the bolt action? Alright, so I hit him once. I'm going to hit him again while he's still on fire to get that 10% damage boost. Now I'm going to hit him again while he's not on fire. So either way, that's a 2-shot kill that way. So that actually works pretty well. But that's a matter of can you get 2 shots and are they going to roll it off before it does full damage. And it's going to be much harder to hit moving targets with a slow pulse. With a little bit of practice you could probably do it, but just remember people are going to be rolling and jumping around, which is a real pain in the ass. But at least with this capacity is pretty good. I can just fire regularly and I reload pretty fast. Last thing to cover is the scatter barrel. I'm going to do a narrow scatter because I always feel like it does more damage. You can mess around with the others, but this is my personal preference. Let's bring it down to standard. So this with the bolt action. And that's an insta-kill. Unless he was already damaged, I don't know. Yeah, it's an insta-kill. So this is pretty nice, although the charge time is a bit slower. And you're going to have to get up close for this to actually work. You got a little bit of a range with the narrow. If you use the wide, this definitely wouldn't work at all. At least not from that range. So yeah, there's definitely a bit to mess around with when it comes to charged shotguns. I've used them in the past. They can be kind of tricky to hit things with, but I mean, if you can kind of get someone around a corner or something, usually works out pretty well. So that's not an insta-kill, but another pull the trigger and they're dead, which you can do pretty easily. Now, if I were to change to say slow pulse, still not quite. So what about pyro? It is essentially the most damage you can get out of shell loading. Nope. So there you have it. Bolt action is going to be your only way to get a single shot kill with the shotgun. Now, of course, it does a crap load of damage with shell either way, but if you don't like pulling the trigger more than once, then bolt is the way to go. So that pretty much covers everything when it comes to the charge trigger. Hope you found something useful out of this, and I hope you experiment with a couple things and try out some of the builds and tweak them to your liking. And let me know when you want to see next video. That's pretty much everything. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and see you next time.